The videos for this week is essentially my prediction for the 2023 Women's World Cup. I did it for the men's 2022 World Cup, and I thought, why not? Let me shoot my chance here. Quick discretion, I don't know much about the women's international football, or I don't know it as much as I do with the men's. And that's not for a lack of trying, it's genuinely because it's just hard to get information, because the sports news that I watch decide to pass a random match from past season instead of the friendly match that from the international women's team, because reasons or viewerships. So I'm not gonna pin that on me. So these prediction, I realized they were a lot more biased than the men's World Cup that I did. So if I say anything that will scratch your head, I don't take it personally. It's not too personal. All right, so I'm gonna go really quick on here. I don't want this video to be longer than 7-8 minutes. So Group A, we have New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, and Switzerland. From these group, I know that Norway and Switzerland are kind of like the better teams out of the four, as well as New Zealand and the Philippines not really being there. Like, I don't see them really making a surprise in making them into the first or second. If there is a surprise, I think New Zealand could do it against Switzerland, and those two could switch. But in the end, I ended up going with Norway, Switzerland, New Zealand, and the Philippines to take over the Philippines as what I'm predicting to be the end result. So, Group B, we have Australia, Ireland, Nigeria, Canada, and right off the bat, Nigeria, superpower in Africa. Australia, the co-host alongside with New Zealand of this World Cup. Canada, I know, is like the second best team in CONCACAF. Republic of Ireland, I think this is their first World Cup, so I think that's the one point that could potentially really change how they perform at this World Cup. For Canada, even though they have always been like one of the best in CONCACAF, they have always struggled to qualify past the group stage. And so with those points, I ended up giving Australia first, Nigeria second, Canada third, and Republic of Ireland fourth. Group C, we have Spain, Croatia, Zambia, and Japan. And I'm not even gonna lie, I 100% went Spain first, and then I'll figure out the rest. And then I forgot that Japan is in there, so I was like, Japan second. Nothing against Costa Rica and Zambia. It's just I follow Costa Rica through their playoffs, and honestly, it left a lot more to desire. Kind of like the men's when they qualified at 1-0. And you saw it coming, and then the World Cup happened. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen again with Costa Rica. And then Zambia, if there's one team that could really change the table here, it's Zambia. They're one of the surprises here in this World Cup, and I think if they could really make Spain and or Japan struggle. So with that in mind, I ended up giving Spain first, Japan second, Zambia third, and Costa Rica fourth. Whoop. Closed my notes. Hold up. All right. Group D, England, Haiti, Denmark, and China. And I'm not even going to lie, 100%. I said England first, China second. And then between Denmark and Haiti, I ended up giving Denmark simply because they were the European team. I don't know much about both of Denmark or Haiti. Really, I haven't followed them. I only know a little bit of Haiti because I saw them do the playoffs. England, they're the champions of Europe. I think China is the champions of the Women's Asian Cup. So, with those points being said, I picked England first, China second, Denmark third, and Haiti fourth. For Group E, we have the World Cup champs, United States, Vietnam, Netherlands, and Portugal. United States and Netherlands being the past finalist, at the World Cup, so I gave them both first or United States first and Netherlands second. Portugal is the one team that I think could potentially ruin that for either of them, so I put them third, and then Vietnam fourth. I don't really follow much of them, so if they do surprise, all kudos to them. But I ended up giving United States first, Netherlands second, Portugal third, and Vietnam fourth. For Group F, France, Jamaica, Brazil, and Panama. Sorry, I was like, where's the other team? As much as I am a CONCACAF fan, I'm not going to also just blast out willy-nilly. I know France and Brazil are two powerhouses from their own respective confederations. So Brazil or France can either flop between one, and I'm Jamaica and Panama to pick between 3 or 4th. Followed them again through the playoffs. Know a little bit more about Jamaica. So because of those points, I ended up giving France first, Brazil second, Jamaica third, and Panama fourth. For Group G, we have Sweden, South Africa, Italy, and Argentina. I know Sweden is a big heavy hitter, and South Africa, apparently Africa, the women's AFCON. Argentina is a team that's also kind of growing, and Italy is Italy. So, because of those points, I ended up in Sweden, South Africa second, Argentina third, and Italy fourth. Group H, we have Germany, Morocco, Colombia, and South Korea. Off the bat, Germany is one of the best teams against worldwide, so I gave them first and didn't even think about it. I know Morocco I think this is their debut, and South Africa has been here before. Colombia is always qualifying to the World Cup. They haven't managed to beat Brazil yet in the in the Copa America Femenina, but they're always present at the World Cup. They always end up, like most of the times, they end up as a runner-up. So because of those points, I ended up giving Germany first, Colombia second, South Korea and third, and Morocco fourth. And then round of 16s happened, and let's see. For those ones, because of my predictions, Norway would end up facing Japan, in which I gave the win to Japan. For Spain and Switzerland, I picked Spain. For the United States and South Africa, I picked the United States. For Sweden and Netherlands, I gave it to Sweden. For Australia and China, a really good match, I ended up going with Australia, giving them, again, that home advantage. For England and Nigeria, I picked England, Euro champions, and France, Colombia. I gave it to France. Germany and Brazil. I wonder if every single time you tell a football fan, a Brazilian football fan, Germany versus Brazil, do they get PTSD from the 2014 World Cup? I don't know, but I'm gonna repeat it because I chose Germany to go through. Hopefully, if Brazil does overtake Germany here, it would be a great send-off for Marta, who has announced that this will be her last World Cup, making the first football player ever to play 6 World Cups. So kudos for that. So because of those, the quarterfinals would be Japan versus the United States, and I think the United States, if there's one team that could really change everything for the World Cup here and forward, is Japan. Japan could knock out the United States, but I give it to the United States mostly because there is a little bit more of expectations on them because of who they are and being the World Cup champs. Then we have Spain versus Sweden, which I gave it to Spain. Australia versus France, and as much as I think Australia could beat France, I gave it to France because I'm like that way. And then England versus Germany, a replay of the Euro finals. I gave it to England. I think they're going to repeat the doses, but again, for this match, Germany could well knock him out and tell him, like, let's see how you like it. Because of this, the semifinals would be the United States versus Spain, and I actually, I want to change things a little bit, so I gave Spain the win, basically because their team has been growing, their footballers have become much more talented, and the United States, while still strong, haven't been at their best from the 2015 and the 2019 World Cup squad. So I think that's the one reason that I'm still kind of debating as to how far they can go. So I give that to Spain, and then France versus England, in which I gave it to England. Because of that, I had USA versus France being in the third place match, and I give it the win to the USA. Being hit hard by that final, could probably find a little bit good of a redemption. And then we had Spain versus England. To me personally, on paper, this is like the best final. United States versus England would also be a really good final. I mean, literally, the United States would love nothing more than find another reason to laugh at England, and the English would love nothing more than to shut the Americans up. Like, our women are better than yours. So in this final, I'm predicting that England is going to be the winner, and according to the website that I used, 22% of players have predicted England. I think FIFA predicted the US to win, and on this website, England is the second top choice to win, or Germany the third, and the United States first as well. So again, everybody's looking at the United States and thinking, I mean, they're the United States, they gotta go all the way through. But we've seen teams such as in the final where the United States lost to Japan in 2011, where that unity of Japan after having been struck by an earthquake really helped them come together and pull one of the greatest finals ever, and becoming the very first Asian team to hold a World Cup. So again, this is my predictions. They could be completely off, and for all I know, Zambia ends up being the champions. So I know I said 8 minutes, and I'm gearing up to 13, but hopefully, with the World Cup coming around, I'm excited for it. Every year that goes by, I'm become more and more passionate about watching the women's football, mostly because I find the women's football much more entertaining than the men's today. Because for the men's, it's tactical, everything going around, it's slow, it's aggressive, and not aggressive in the terms of like football, but like everyone's kind of like protecting themselves a little bit. And then for the women's, I've been watching, like the Chicago Red Stars, and they're going back and forth, and that's what I want out of my football. A lot of not running, just a lot of like excitement and goals, essentially. So that's my prediction for the 2023 Women's World Cup. I'm excited to see it once it starts out. And for me, I'm rooting all the way for the CONCACAF teams: Canada, United States, Jamaica, and Panama, and Costa Rica. I think that's all of them. But other than that, I personally believe that England could end up being the champions. So, yeah. Peace.